Good evening and thank you for joining us on this shortened newscast tonight. Reaction continues after a tragic mid-air collision involving two small airplanes in South Glengarry. One person is dead as the investigation continues. CTV's Josh Morano was following this for us today. So Josh, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, Austin, according to the Transportation Safety Board of Canada, the plane crashed deep in the woods near Martintown and was submerged in swamp-like terrain, making efforts to extract it very difficult. I also spoke with residents near the site who say the incident has left them shocked.
That's where I first sighted the plane.
Glenn Finbow says he didn't get much sleep last night.
I can see the wreckage, I can hear the accident, and I can live the pilot's last seconds.
He was one of a few people to witness a small aircraft fall from the sky just down the road from his home.
I heard a pop bang, which is an unusual sound, out of the clouds. This sort of looked like a missile projectile heading straight down.
According to the Transportation Safety Board of Canada, two airplanes collided in the sky.
You could see at that time that it only had one wing and it went straight for the ground. I called 911 and I know it was 11:01 because that was the time on my phone when I called.
The plane that crashed, a Cessna 172, was located deep in the bush along County Road 25, stuck in swamp-like terrain. Residents say seeing planes fly overhead is not uncommon. The planes were owned and operated by Cornwall Aviation and were conducting training flights at the time of the collision.
Our son was an instructor at that airport before he went on to an airline, and we always noticed the air traffic just because he would many times say to us, "Oh, I'm going up now," before he would leave. So it's very emotional.
In a statement posted online, Cornwall Aviation says it thanks police, first responders, and neighbors for their help during this difficult time. McDonald says she didn't see or hear the crash, but once she saw a military plane flying over her house, she knew something was wrong.
Within a short period of time, of course, we saw police, ambulance, and then the rescue helicopter. So we figured that something was going on, and it was very frightening.
Finbow says he's been left feeling bent out of shape after witnessing the tragic incident.
Every time I look up west, or every time I see a plane, it's going to regenerate the memory of what I just saw yesterday.
The Transportation Safety Board says it has been working to get the plane out of the swamp, cutting down vegetation around it and using a machine to pull it out. It says more information will be provided as the investigation continues. Austin.
Okay, Josh, thank you very much for this. CTV's Josh Morano reporting live for us tonight, and CTV Ottawa has extended coverage of the fatal plane crash in South Glengarry. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, a massive Catch the Ace draw has come to a close in Russell. The winner taking home just over $2.4 million. But the community says the real winners are the local charities that will now be receiving money thanks to the fundraiser put on by the Kin Club of Russell. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has the story.
Wrapping up lunch at Big Bite Bistro, Melanie Beaupre jokes if she wins Catch the Ace,
I'll treat the whole restaurant.
And with good reason, the pot swelling to over $2.4 million. And on Sunday, there are only 2 cards left.
Oh, everyone's talking about it and what they would do with the money. And of course, we all think about, helping our children and grandchildren.
Put on by the Kin Club of Russell, the fundraiser is in its 51st week and has raised $7.4 million, with $3.3 million going to local charities.
I've been playing off and on, so maybe it's my turn to win.
I think people are excited, and to have it go this long has really been quite amazing.
For the 26 charities, too, Heather McKenzie works with Guide Dogs for the Blind and says for dogs like Celia, this is
hugely important, and they supported the Guide Dogs for the Blind last year as well, and so they were able to buy necessary equipment.
People buy tickets for the weekly draw and pick which envelope they think has the ace inside. Each week, the ace isn't found, the pot grows. Sunday, ballooning to millions. The weekly draw winners have won over $100,000. By 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the name is drawn and the money won. Ultimately, the ace was in number 42, going to Shelley Eckford of Fitzroy Harbour.
You just won $2.45 million. Shelley, everybody's listening to you. Do you have anything you want to say to the thousands of people that you just disappointed?
I'm sorry I disappointed them. I don't know.
As the journey comes to a close, the chair of Catch the Ace says over the last year, the real winner is the community as a whole.
Change the lives of our charities, because the money that's raised, $3.3 million, is really going to go a long ways into making a difference with them.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
Absolutely incredible. $2.45 million in Catch the Ace. You got to be feeling pretty good after winning something like that. Despite the cool temperature, I'm sure that everyone is feeling nice and toasty after a win like that. We do have some light snowfall, or we did rather, earlier today in some parts of the city. You could see that in this park here. And of course, the fog was rolling through the city at certain times of the day as well. We had some freezing rain yesterday, and that has obviously since subsided. There's the fog. You can really see what I was talking about there, and it was a brisk November day for sure, as our graphic reads there, as the snow was falling very lightly. You can see some weather activity over the satellite radar earlier today, mostly cloud coverage in that fog as well. Out on the East Coast, it's 6 degrees in Charlottetown, 9 degrees in Halifax. That's one of the warmer spots out in the country, actually, right now. It was 18 degrees in Windsor yesterday. Pretty stark contrast to today, 6 degrees, but still one of the warm spots in the province. We're currently sitting at 0. Toronto's at 2 degrees in Quebec City. They have some snow, currently -3. Out in the prairies, 5 degrees in both Calgary and in Edmonton. It's 1 in Regina, and a nice warm day in Vancouver at 11 degrees, but they do have some rain to contest with, a mix of sun and some showers over the course of this afternoon. We are expecting flurries to continue throughout this evening with a low of -4 degrees, and then tomorrow afternoon and night, another chance of flurries, probably similar to what we saw today. Rather light is what Environment Canada is calling for, with that afternoon high of 1 degree. -5 is the low in the Ottawa Valley. Same chance of flurries into tomorrow afternoon, 0 degrees. And along the Seaway, -4 and 1 degree. Copy and paste what we're experiencing here in Ottawa and expecting here in Ottawa. The same goes for the Seaway. As we take a look at the 7-day weather forecast, you can see that the nicest day is probably going to come on Wednesday. That's when we're going to get some sunshine, but it will be slightly below seasonal, 1 degree. -4 is the low, and that is the same for Monday and Tuesday as well in terms of temperatures. Warming up from there, Thursday 2 degrees, Friday 6 degrees. That's going to be the warmest day, but that is when the showers will likely start, and a good chance that they will carry on into the weekend. Again, off and on will be that rain. Well, as Canada looks outside the U.S. to diversify its trading portfolio, it is seeking to utilize the same playbook in diversifying its defense capabilities. Defense Minister David McGuinty spoke to the host of CTV's Question Period, Vashi Kapelos, and said the federal government is not ruling out purchasing fighter jets from several companies.
We're grateful for any offer, any forthcoming offer that comes forward. If anybody walks into Canada tomorrow from a sovereign wealth fund or with a joint venture in mind, or is looking to set up a company in Canada to create 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 jobs, game on.
Now, the comments come after the president and CEO of Swedish manufacturing company Saab told CTV News talks have been taking place with the Canadian government regarding the manufacturing of fighter jets on Canadian soil. If the deal goes ahead, companies like Bombardier and CAE could also take part. Well, interest from the federal government is marking a potentially lucrative chapter in Canada's emerging commercial space race. The federal government and their budget pledged nearly $200 million over the course of the next 3 years to, quote, establish a sovereign space launch capability. The interest is part of Carney's push for a defense industrial strategy. Nord Space and Maritime Launch Services are working on building their own spaceports and rocket launching facilities. The proposed spending by the federal government would amount to $60 million per year, and the federal budget will be voted on officially, is expected to be voted on officially tomorrow. Well, baby formula is becoming out of reach for parents across the country due to soaring costs and short supply. Now, some families are seeking help from strangers. CTV's Kamil Karamali has the details.
Here at this Toronto food bank, hundreds of items have been donated, except for one thing.
So what's missing here?
Baby formula. We never ever get formula donated. It is one of the top items that families seek at the food bank.
Parents fed up with not being able to feed formula to their infants, now heading to social media to buy and sell baby formula.
Facebook page after Facebook page of parents searching for formula or willing to sell it.
It's very often to the point that it's almost every other day.
Tonmoy Chakraborty found himself with a brand his newborn didn't like, so he posted it for sale on a local Facebook group.
The response was overwhelming. I got like 15 to 20 response in a matter of an hour that, hey, I am in Sudbury. I'm willing to drive there.
900 grams of baby formula was just shy of $30 during the pandemic, but since then it's steadily been climbing in price, now nearly doubling to more than $50 for the same amount.
Baby formula is the one product that has increased the most in Canada at 68%.
Food safety issues at U.S. plants that led to their shutdown have also led to a lack of availability and increased prices. Health Canada says it's working closely with manufacturers to maintain a stable supply of infant formulas, with more than 70 products currently eligible for temporary importation. Right now, there's only one formula manufacturer in Canada which began production last year.
The bottom line is that we're still heavily reliant on imports, and so we're quite vulnerable.
It's actually completely empty. That's our shelf right there.
That might be too late for parents who have the need to nourish their infants now.
They come in actually quite often looking for baby formula.
With hopes more production is made in Canada soon. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Today is Louis Riel Day, honoring the Métis leader who fought for Indigenous rights. He is considered a founder of the province of Manitoba, and he was executed for treason after leading resistance against the Canadian government in its efforts to expand into Métis territory. CTV's Rahim Ladani has more on events that were held across the country to honor his life and his legacy.
This isn't just any dance lesson. It's a Métis jig, a traditional and energetic dance combining First Nations, Scottish, and French-Canadian dance steps. It's a celebration of culture, marking Louis Riel Day.
We want our stories to be told. People should know the true history of Canada, and these are stories that are part of it that have been left out of our history books for many years. So having that public visibility is really, really important for us to be able to gather together and to then also put it out there to the greater community.
From a delicious pancake breakfast to crafts and information booths, a kitchen party is taking place inside Toronto City Hall's Rotunda in a celebration of resilience of the Métis Nation.
To be remembered as someone who stood for those, that equality, those rights of his people, the Métis people, and who died for it, sadly.
This year marks the 140th anniversary of the execution of Louis Riel, the Métis leader who stood for the rights and recognition of the Métis people.
A great Métis leader, a founder of Confederation, and a tireless advocate for justice, equity, and self-determination.
Outside City Hall, a deep sky blue flag bearing a white infinity symbol was raised. The Métis flag helping dispel long-held stigma and discrimination, which forced many Métis families to conceal their heritage.
2 generations ago, my family lived in the Métis community of St. Laurent in Manitoba, but they always tried to hide the fact that they were Métis. Everyone spoke English, and my auntie would dye her hair blonde so she would look more white.
Some people where they lived, kept it quiet, and they always knew. But I guess my dad, I asked him why, and he said he was told not to say anything because it wasn't important. It wasn't important for us to know that. It was protecting us, and I think, we're done with the protecting.
Instead, now wearing their Métis culture with pride and educating others along the way. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
And Prime Minister Mark Carney took part in a ceremony in Winnipeg to mark Louis Riel Day.
140 years after his execution divided a young nation, Louis Riel's legacy helps to unite a maturing Canada. A Canada that is determined to reconcile with and learn from our history. Throughout his life, Louis Riel struggled for social justice. He fought to defend Métis rights and identity.
Carney joined members of the Manitoba Métis Federation and the national government of the Red River Métis to honor Riel. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew was also among the dignitaries who laid wreaths at Riel's gravesite at St. Boniface Cathedral in Winnipeg. Also in Winnipeg, the 112th edition of the Grey Cup is underway, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the Montreal Alouettes. And Canadian football fans spent the day soaking up all the festivities in Manitoba.
This is an awesome party. It's a bucket list thing for us.
It's community, and that's what makes it good to be here.
Doesn't matter what team you're on, everyone's having a good time out here in Winnipeg.
We've attended a lot of Grey Cups, and this is one of the best ones yet.
Now, the Rough Riders, they are looking for revenge tonight. The finale is a repeat of the 2009 and the 2010 Grey Cups, which Montreal won both of. There's also a battle off the field tonight with Alouettes head coach Jason Moss and Rough Riders coach Corey Mace, both up for the CFL's Coach of the Year award. The action is live right now on CTV and on CTV2. And the Ottawa Senators were back on home ice last night, taking on the LA Kings.
The wall, and now it's Byfield back to Mike. The under the tipped on end, and they score.
Alex Laferriere with the lone goal for the Kings, and despite a real strong defensive game from Ottawa, they could not solve LA netminder and former Sen Anton Forsberg, who gets the shutout as the Kings skate away to a 1-0 win. Ottawa now has a pretty long break. They're on the road next week, and they'll be taking on the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday. And some popular holiday markets returned this weekend to the nation's capital, including one at the National Arts Centre. Busy time for the Holiday Craft Market is taking over the O'Brien Atrium this afternoon. This was the market's 7th year in operation. It features everything handmade, and the popular event wrapped up at 5 o'clock. And the Glebe Community Centre hosted the annual Glebe Craft this weekend. This event has been running for over 40 years. It's organized by the Glebe Neighbourhood Activities Group. Well, Blue Rodeo hit the stage in southwestern Ontario last night, but before that performance, one band member played his own gig. He delivered a free performance for an audience likely unable to afford a concert ticket, and CTV's Brent Lale was there.
There's no other audience I'd rather be playing for than this audience right here.
Traveling across Canada with his band Blue Rodeo, Mike Boguski is taking time in each city to make someone's day.
He's in a stratosphere that's a little bit different than ours, financially and notoriety, but yet he's coming to a place where people are in need and what have you, just to, yes, serve as a pick-me-up.
The cost of love and understanding. Prior to the show at Canada Life Place, the keyboardist stopped by the London Coffee House drop-in space to play a free concert.
If I can just bring an hour of music to people who may not be able to come to tonight's show, that's pretty awesome because, recognizing people as human beings with faces is what it's all about. Everyone loves music, not everybody can afford a ticket.
The London Coffee House has a long history of serving a cup of coffee or just giving support to both men and women who are either homeless or at risk of homelessness.
Creating accessibility to the arts, to things that bring that sense of joy and hope and really inspire people through creativity is wonderful. I mean, we look at like the whole spectrum of wellness, right? And the basic needs, housing, that's one piece, the survival. And then when we can add things like this that really just bring that sense of meaning and joy and purpose and connection through community is super exciting.
On this tour, Mike began playing for local food banks at libraries. But when in British Columbia, he discovered a community shelter and started playing for the unhoused.
If I can find somebody who was willing to believe me that I actually am Mike Boguski from Blue Rodeo who wants to play your community shelter, I'll be playing. But, if you're under 40, just Google Blue Rodeo. We're a popular band, and, I want to play your shelter.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
What an absolute legend. You love to see that kind of stuff. And Blue Rodeo, that's an iconic band, a Canadian band as well, obviously. But 5 days in May, that song will always and forever hold a special place in my heart. So shout out to him for making sure everyone has a chance to enjoy the tunes. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. That is CTV News for this Sunday, November 16th. Have yourself a wonderful night.